30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. It's also downright cold. Low 40s at the moment. And so we're getting our first taste of deep into fall and feeling a little bit like winter. Happy Halloween to all of you. Wherever you end up going tonight, try to make it safe. Get yourself back in one piece. It's football season, and given that, we begin each show with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, which is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. NFL trade deadline is in 58 minutes from now, 3 o'clock Central. Terry McCormick from Main Street Media joining us. Terry, it sounds like the Titans really are not going to do anything, are they?
It sounded that way. Mike Vrabel talked to us about an hour ago, and he said, so far, nothing, but if somebody calls, you never know. But it doesn't sound like they are actively shopping guys right now. I think they're more fielding calls and saying, okay, if so-and-so, gives us this for for this guy, then they'll listen. But it doesn't sound like they are actively pursuing trading anybody away right now. In fact, they're just now headed out onto the practice field. So if they do trade somebody in the next 58 minutes, as you said, it'll necessitate having them come off the practice field.
Is this a product of Sunday's win, or do you think this was the plan all along?
Well, I think they probably would have been willing to listen to anything. Everything was on the table, but I do think Sunday's win certainly maybe tempered some of that, George, because at 3-4, you're still, if you can go to Pittsburgh and somehow pull off a win Thursday night, you're sort of still in things, especially in the AFC South where Jacksonville's off to a good start, but you still got 2 games left with them. But nobody else is any great shakes. I think if you had dropped to 2-5, then I think, everybody's probably throwing in the towel on 2023 and starting to look at 2024. But I think they're still kind of riding that rail, George, of being in between a full rebuild and trying to contend in the process.
So it's Pittsburgh, and it's a quick turnaround. Boy, when you think about it, they'll fly out of here tomorrow. I'm guessing after practice. Terry, the Thursday thing, to me, for the road team, is a huge disadvantage.
Oh, there's no doubt it is, George. There is absolutely no doubt that the Thursday game works way against the road team in this deal because, your body just doesn't have time to recover. Now, you can do the cramming and the game planning and things like that and make that work out okay. But the problem is getting back physically, and it's going to be a big adjustment. Think about how many rookies, you're talking about Will Levis, Peter Skoronski, Tajay Spears. You're talking about a lot of rookies who are now starting to play meaningful snaps for this team. Some of them have been since the start. But these guys, unless you played in the MAC, it's basically Saturday to Saturday pretty much every week. So this is a big challenge for some of these young guys who haven't been through a whole lot of this.
So Levis, it looks like, will be the starter. How do you think they handle Malik Willis? Do you think they continue to try to have packages, or has that
No, I think that ship probably has sailed, George. I mean, unless something happens that Will Levis is unable to play, I think you won't see Malik Willis on Thursday night, especially with a short turnaround like this. I think the torch has been passed for better or worse. I think Levis is your starter at least until Tannehill gets back, and perhaps even after that. I think, Vrabel said yesterday that was healthy and ready to go as to what they would do moving forward. But there wasn't a lot of mention of Willis and him being involved in any playing time this week.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate it as always. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Sounds good, George.
Get a new hat. Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. Let's head to Murfreesboro and find out about Kelly Holcomb's trick-or-treating tonight.
Well, George, I have not had a trick-or-treater at my house in the 15 years that I've lived here.
What do you scare them off? You put your football uniform
No, I
back
mean
on?
I'm off the road. We've got a gate in front of the house. We've got two houses that are right next to each other that's got gates here, and we've never had anyone come here on Halloween, which, that's my wife was talking about that earlier because she's going over to my daughter's house. My daughter got married months ago, and they're in the neighborhood, and the people called and told her it's crazy on Halloween. So my wife is going over there to help her with the Halloween candy because her husband's gone. So she said, I really miss this. I really miss doing the trick-or-treating thing. So she's going to get to do that tonight.
Did you ever get traded on the deadline?
No.
That's got to be hard for players that are hearing their name out there. I mean, it's fun for all of us to speculate, but there are lives, there are hotels, apartments, homes. There's a lot that goes in. It's fun for us. I bet it's not fun for them.
I'm glad you said that because I got traded one time from Philly to Minnesota, where I ended my career, and people don't understand that. I'm glad you just said that, George, because people really don't understand that. I got traded that morning, and by that afternoon, I was on a plane, and I was gone. They lost my luggage, so I didn't get my luggage till the next day. So I had to go to a store and pick up all the essentials. I had to get deodorant. I had to get toothbrushes, some toothpaste. Had to get some soap. I mean, it's just, people just don't understand that. Like once you get traded or once you get let go, I mean, that's it for that team. And when you're traded, you got to go. I mean, it's a life altering event. I remember the night that I got traded I was in Buffalo and I got traded to Philly. And I was on the phone with Andy Reid, and my wife looked at me and she goes, if you think that my kids and myself are moving with you to Philadelphia, you're crazy. Because she had already heard about the brotherly love city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, not going to do that. So I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I mean, they just traded for me. I mean, I've got to go. What do you want me to do? So she's like, well, you're going by yourself because I'm not going with you. And then I ended up getting traded during training camp because they ended up getting a quarterback that they didn't think they were going to get. So I got traded to Minnesota during training camp, and it was it's life altering. It's very fast. It happens fast, and it's just it's kind of crazy the way things go in that league.
Billy, you've been monitoring the wire of all the trades that either are going down or are not. I personally am happy for Josh Dobbs, who I thought played reasonably well at Arizona. They're not the 27 Yankees, and I don't think their bad record is really all his fault. He's gotten traded to the Vikings, who need a quarterback like now.
Yeah.
And he might do pretty well there.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today. His dad is actually the owner of the Vikings today. And
what? Hold on a minute. Say that again.
His dad's the owner of the Vikings.
He's talking about Ziggy Wilf. Is that who you're talking about?
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
You talk to who?
His son goes to Vandy. I was at Vandy over today.
Okay, I got you.
And I was, I thought they might target Tannehill. And, he basically said, well, Will Levis is a Titans guy and Tannehill's not healthy right now. So I don't know if they were ever targeting Tannehill, but I mean, Josh Dobbs is as good of an option for them right now, I think, as anybody.
Oh, I think he's I thought he played at times really well at Arizona.
Yeah.
But anyway,
in an
go
awful
ahead.
situation. Yeah, 49ers have traded for Chase Young. So he goes from the
Oh,
Commanders
wow. Good
to the
gracious.
49ers.
That could be
Who did they
lethal.
give up, Billy?
I didn't look into that, but I can, though.
The 49er pass rush, shockingly, was non-existent a week ago, the Monday Night Football loss at Minnesota. And that really raised some red flags, and John Lynch obviously was concerned.
Jeez.
Chase Young could really help them.
Could really help them. They just got better.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll cost the Niners a third-round pick.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
I told you, George. You just don't once you get traded during the season, you're not going to get much for that person. It's just it's wild.
The Jags traded for former Vikings second-round pick offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland. So the Jags obviously wanted to bolster their offensive line, and that guy's probably going to start. So Minnesota loses an offensive lineman, but they get Dobbs as a quarterback. So those are really the biggest ones right now.
That and Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat was actually the last one. Yeah.
Going from Washington to the Bears.
I don't know.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
What is Washington doing? Are they trying to load up on draft picks? What are they doing? Because you just got two of the best edge rushers in the league that they had, and they just let them go.
Yeah,
I think
Sweat's in the last year of his contract, and the Commanders are opting for a draft pick now rather than a compensatory selection they might receive if Sweat signed elsewhere as a free agent next year.
Now, here's the cynical piece. New owner, coach he didn't hire. I believe what they're trying to do is give themselves the excuse to get rid of Ron Rivera at the end of the year.
Could be.
I'm not opposed to that. I don't think they're the biggest fans of Ron Rivera up there.
No, but look, in fairness to Rivera, that's been a loony bin. Think about who he worked for.
He's gotten as much out of it as he
my goodness.
probably can.
He worked for little small stuff.
Yes, he did.
Where is Daniel? We don't hear anything from Daniel anymore.
You miss all the news coming out about Daniel Snyder?
Now we have Mark Davis.
He was at the top of every update last year, I swear.
Yep.
World Series last night, Rangers beat the D-backs 3-1. They lead that series now 2-1. Corey Seager had a homer. Evan Carter, the East Tennessee kid, had 2 hits again. He's stepping up for the Rangers, and they're still undefeated on the road.
Yeah, 9-0. Seager lives here.
I
didn't know that until recently.
I didn't know that.
He's a heck of a player.
Sure is. NBA last night, the Clippers acquired James Harden in a blockbuster trade with the 76ers. The Clippers get Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev. And the Sixers get basically a whole nother team. Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, who played at TSU, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, and a bunch of picks.
A sucker is born every day.
And now
what is it? What is the fast look? I'm not going to sit here and act like James Harden doesn't have great skills. He does. He's a dog.
Wow, that's tough, George. That's tough.
I mean, would you give up that for James Harden?
I'm not. I don't want. I mean, he's a great player, but like when you watch him play, I mean, the ball never moves a lot of times, and that's what bothers the heck out of me watching him play. I mean, he's obviously very gifted, but good gracious, it gets stuck in his hands. Like, let's move the ball, do something, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes I think in the
a lot
NBA,
of me in James Harden.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Sometimes I think in the NBA, it's more about selling tickets as opposed to maybe. Obviously, they want to make the playoffs, but I mean, what has Harden shown that you give up that much to maybe make a more deeper playoff push?
Help me. Clippers have got Russell Westbrook,
Kawhi Leonard,
Paul George.
Paul George, yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, that's a lethal sounding starting lineup.
Yeah.
But like Kelly said, how's that going to work when he starts all of this and the others are like, we're not exactly chopped liver.
That's what happens every team he's on.
Has a chance to explode.
and that's nothing new.
No.
We talk about a new big three every year in the NBA. I feel like this is
what?
This year.
The Clippers deserve what they get.
Yep, exactly. NHL, Preds are in Vancouver tonight to play the Canucks. Didn't they just
9 o'clock? Yeah, they
late.
played.
How was that? This Saturday?
They played
no, it wasn't Saturday.
last Tuesday. Here.
Yeah. So back in action with the Canucks. MLS, Nashville SC lost last night, 1-0.
They had a chance. I happened to turn over. They had one of these headers, and I know when I talk soccer, it's not great.
No.
But they had a header.
I don't think either
close to the net
probably don't need
that
to.
went haywire, that went off to the left. They had a great shot to tie, and it just didn't happen.
God, those 1-0 soccer losses have to be brutal.
Is tomorrow night game 2?
Game 2 of the playoffs?
Yeah, is this not a best of 3?
Let me check. I'm not sure.
Oh, boy.
I don't
Billy,
know. George thinks I'm some sort of MLS insider.
Billy, hey, let's go. Let's go.
I was not prepared to answer. Is there a game 2?
Yes.
Why are you asking me that?
Well, because I think there is a game 2. I didn't just pluck that out of thin air.
Well, if you think there is, then why don't you be convincing?
Like you did that green hoodie you got on?
Listen, I like the green hoodie.
I was going to tell you, I kind of like
Last Minute Toy Store.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. I paid for it. I know you don't believe that, but I did.
Hey, Billy, Billy, just one more thing, George. When you're introducing, when you talk about the weather and then you talk about trick or treating, you're starting to remind me of Mr. Rogers. I mean, I'm just waiting for you to say hello, friends. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking to Billy about that?
No, I'm talking to you. You sound like Mr. Rogers.
Well,
you come in, you take your coat off, and you put your little sweater on, and
I walked in with this. I didn't. There wasn't any. Put it on late.
Good gracious.
Also, I'm
Last Minute Toy Store.
I'm seeing that Columbus plays Atlanta tomorrow.
Okay, I'll check it.
I don't know where you got that game 2. Are they not eliminated after?
I believe this year they have changed to a best of 3.
All right. Well,
I hope I'm right. It gives them an opportunity. Anyway, we'll go to the break. Tony Basilio will join us, his weekly visit from Knoxville, Tennessee. That comes up next. Thanks for being with us.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the 3rd annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to sign up and get involved. The cost is $200. The proceeds will benefit the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. And what I promise you that night is great bowling, maybe not, great food, a ton of fun, and in fact, I'll make this claim, more fun than any charity sports event you have ever been involved in. To get involved, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Let me know whether you want to be in the 6 to 8 p.m. shift or the 8 to 10, and get ready for a night of bowling and fun you'll never forget. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. By the way, Nashville SC will play a game 2 of that series a week from tonight at Geodis Park at 8 o'clock. If there is a need for a third game, it would be in Orlando on Sunday, November the 12th. That is a new way of doing the playoffs where they open in a best 2 out of 3. So there.
Why they're doing it that way, who knows?
They don't care what you think.
I mean, you wait a week to play game 2?
Well, I mean, think about it. Now, that does seem a little bit long, but soccer, I wouldn't think, as much running as you do, that it wouldn't be a deal where you'd come back at, 2 days later.
Yeah, and it was in Orlando.
Yeah. However, our soccer expert is Tony Basilio.
No doubt about it.
He knows more than we do.
Tony, do you have an answer on that?
Fans of the MLS across the board hate this new playoff. They went to it because they got tremendous money from that deal with Apple.
Yeah.
So they added tiers to their playoffs, kind of like baseball, George. And what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with teams that aren't worthy at the end if they're not careful. Kind of like what's happened to baseball. The more you let in, the more chance there is for crazy things to happen. But
that's a
rank
long
MLS
season.
fan does not they think this season's way too long. I mean, people are saying uncle. They did that thing with Mexico this year with the Mexican teams,
right?
Which was kind of more of a success than people thought it was going to be. But it's just turned the season into an interminable. I mean, it should have been over 6 weeks ago.
Starts in mid-February, and this time around, it's going to go into December.
Right.
Ooh.
They're going to get 6 weeks off.
Yeah. So, first of all, what was the reaction to the win over Kentucky in your postgame?
George, people were just like, okay, so the sun rose in the east today and it's going to set in the west. At the end of the day, it's like, Kentucky made Joe Milton look instinctive and like a complete quarterback. Like they just do the impossible when they get on the field with the Vols. And I don't know what to say about Kentucky other than thank you. Everybody needs a break. And I don't know how they can look as good as they did against Florida and Tennessee look as bad as they did against Florida. And then Tennessee just go into their building and just, I mean, that game, even though it doesn't look that way, the game was never really in question.
Isn't that the beauty of sports, though, that we never know what matchups produce what different results than we think we know on paper?
Right. That and conventional wisdom very seldom plays the way it's going to. Like I think about in college football, when we were young and Notre Dame got their own network, the thought was they'll win every national championship from here on out.
Absolutely.
And then Texas got their own network, and everybody thought, well, God, it's over for everybody else. They have their own network. I mean, my gosh. But that didn't work out. And then Texas A&M joins the league, and they're buying all these players. Boy, they're going to win the division. We'll show you that's not going to work out. Conventional wisdom is an interesting thing in college football because it's a sport that just keeps changing. It keeps changing the questions on you.
So here's what we do know, Tony. They went 2-1 in a very difficult 3-game stretch. Home against A&M, at Bama, at Kentucky. There are a lot of teams that would not have gone 2-1 in that stretch. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like UConn is going to give them much of a battle. But right now, what do you think Tennessee is?
I think they're pretty good. You know, like we were talking back in the summer and you guys said, what's the number going to be? And I said 9-3. Now, I didn't think losing to Florida would be one of the three, and shame on me, because obviously losing to Florida is baked into this deal. But by the same token, I think at the end of the season, if this team can go 9-3 with everything that's happened, the injury issues, the kind of uneven quarterback play, the other things that have gone on, 9-3 would be a pretty good number at year's end, and I expect that's where they're going to end up.
So are we now at a point where we can say with virtual certainty Milton will play from beginning to end, barring injury? I mean, there's no way to know that, but is that now the plan?
I mean, George, this week's a bye game, and Nico has thrown under 15 passes on the year. And as Slim just popped on the screen and said, Joe Milton's playing harder and smarter. Look, I think there's a line of demarcation for Joe Milton, if you want to look at it. And we talked about it on our post game the other night. And I think the line of demarcation was early in the Texas A&M game, he had 2 series. One where he ran out of bounds short of a first down marker on his own. And then the second on a 4th down play, I don't say gave up on the play, but he kind of ran out of bounds and then threw the ball up into the stands. And so it seems to me that somebody went to him. I mean, anybody tell me this. It seems to me that somebody went to him and said, Joe, if you really want to play quarterback for us, you're going to have to start running with the football. And you're going to have to start selling out. Otherwise, we have a guy over here that, can take your job and can play. So I say all that to say that he's done that. So he's been different. He was really good for a half with Alabama. Second half, it came apart and Tennessee didn't score any points. And he had kind of a bad turnover. Last week against Kentucky, his running and their running was key to opening up their offense. And he had some passes. He actually, on one play, directed the Oregon transfer, Thornton, and he was doing this, and he was kind of sliding in the pocket. And he did beautiful things we haven't seen him done. I mean, it's a beautiful throw. It's probably his prettiest play of the year because he was channeling like a Patrick Mahomes kind of thing almost. Like, I'm keeping a play alive, and I'm not committing to run here, but I'm keeping this play alive, and I'm sliding out. I think this week Nico's got to play at least a half. And then against Vanderbilt at the end of the year, which figures to be a relatively, I mean, you never know, but that figures to be a relatively easy win as well. They've got to get this guy some playing time. And this guy is going to have the job next year, and he's not going to have any game experience. I just don't think that's I just personally, and he's been here about a year now. He got here in December of last year, worked with the team in bowl practice, gave them a scout, And it just doesn't seem smart, George, that, that you would have him on your campus that long and not get him in games like this, especially.
These are weird kind of dynamics that we're in these days.
Well, and that puts pressure on Milton to perform and get a score, get a lead big enough to be able to throw Nico out there. So there's layers to it.
Oh, sure. So, do you ever hear anything that says Nico's not happy, he's looking around?
George, people are always going to speculate. Look, I'd be lying to you if I haven't heard somebody say, well, people are poking around on him. But I got news for you. People are poking around on everybody on these rosters. So if you're asking me, do I think he'll be Tennessee's quarterback next year, Nico? Yes, I do.
Kelly, I got a call yesterday, but I had to admit it was a wrong number.
There you go.
For what, George?
Well, they thought I had some, the eligibility left. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Don't start that, dude. You have not one athletic bone in that body right there.
You can stuff it.
Tell him, Tony. He has none. Look at him. He's got that green hoodie on today.
He looks
very proud of that. Very proud of
Look at these Christmas colors on the screen right now.
That bowling commercial that you were doing for your event.
Yes.
You were screaming athlete at the bowling alley. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Kelly, I tell you what.
Tony, are you coming? Are you coming to the bowling deal? You can't, can you?
I don't even know when is it?
He doesn't want to come, George.
4 weeks. That was sort of I really don't want to come. 4 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
And we would love to have you. Trust me when I tell you that if you come, we will roll out the red carpet and a free bowling ball.
Would
Tony,
they
just go ahead and tell him right now, no, I'm not coming.
It seems like you have like dignitaries and dignified people, and I don't know if you want me at your event. But
I've got a lot of people that you would really enjoy. But let me say this. I'm tired of hearing, Kelly, about my athletic abilities. So I tell you what, Kelly, I will out bowl your butt.
No, who cares? It's bowling.
No, it's a sport.
It's a sport.
It doesn't matter. It's bowling. It's bowling.
It's a sport.
It's the one sport I may have a chance
George.
at.
And I will beat George. I will beat George.
No, you will not.
What do you bowl, George?
150, 160.
Yeah, no,
the last time I did it, guys, I got real serious when I went to one of these. And it was like, who was it for? It was like junior achievement. And I achieved something that day. I bet had to have rotator cuff surgery.
Wow.
Afterwards. I picked up the heaviest ball, threw it as hard as I could without warming up. And something went wrong.
Yeah, this is a really funny story, George. I was in Indianapolis, and we all went out bowling one night, and they had just waxed the lanes, and I went over the line.
Oh.
And I came down, and I stumped my toe, and I got turf toe on my right big toe.
Wow. Did you go on the injury report?
Really hurt yourself.
I did go on the injury report. Luckily, it was in the spring, so we didn't really, But I had to go in and I had to go in and confess because I'm not going to tell those guys that, I'm going to go into the facility and I'm going to fall off the edge of the sidewalk. I'm not going to do that. I just went in and told them, man, I'm, obviously not athletic enough.
All right.
I just got turf toe because I went down the lane of the bowling alley and I fell.
And you're sitting here taking shots at me. Good Lord.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I wonder, guys? I wonder sometimes in sports, like some of the injuries that you see, some of these people are really brain donors, right? I mean, these athletes, there's no telling how they really get hurt. Like they say this happened or that happened, but guy gets to like drinking with his friends, hanging out.
Well, Drinky Winky can always be a part of it.
Oh, yes.
Did you see the Chris Olave stuff? This wasn't really an injury. And
Incredible.
part of it, they think they're invincible. He got arrested, pulled over, whatever. And he goes, tells the cop, I play for the Saints. The cop goes, and?
And that
And-
doesn't matter to them. I do not want to tell them that. I found that out a long time ago. Don't tell them.
Oh,
They don't
really?
care. Yeah, they don't care. Not for me, but you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
sure, yeah.
Sure. Do you have questions? Are there questions in Tony's future
I
from
don't
you?
know. I just enjoy sitting here making fun of you, George. That's really what I'd love to do
That's
instead of asking
really
questions.
very wholesome.
So Tony, you're still not sold on our boy Joe Milton, huh? He had 85.7% the other day. I mean, I
It's a
know what
great
he is.
night.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, he did have a good night. And it's amazing that you said that about, and I keep bringing it up on the show. Like Tennessee can't beat Florida, but UK cannot beat Tennessee. It's kind of amazing. I don't understand how that goes, how that happens, because Kentucky beats Florida, looks good, and then they can't do anything against UT. I mean, Devin Leary played okay. I mean, he played fine, but you like the game was never. You always knew who was going to win the game.
I never felt like I said this yesterday on my show, our Monday program, which is I just never felt like Tennessee was in any danger, like you say.
No.
And you watch enough of this and you go, oh, man, you're in trouble here. Or, they score. Somebody said, well, what if Kentucky would have scored when they had the ball to take the lead? Well, they weren't going to score to take the lead. I mean, that's the point. The point is that game was never in doubt. And on Joe Milton, I think that, again, he looked really instinctive the other night, which lends itself to saying this series is really strange because he hasn't looked like that, Kelly, all year. He just hasn't. He hasn't looked like that in a Tennessee uniform. He even slid in bounds at the end of the game the other night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's just not who he's been. Just not.
It seems like you kind of hit the nail on the head too when you said that. It seems like somebody's gotten to him and said, "Hey, you've got to go out and like you're not in the National Football League. You're not there yet. So
Right.
you need to run around and give us something other than throwing the ball in the stands." That sounds like me and Tom Moore. Tom Moore was like 1, 2, 3, throw it away. But like somebody got to him and said, "Hey, you've got to make plays with your feet. That's something that got you here." And it seems like he did that the other day in the game. Hopefully, for the foreseeable future, he's doing that again.
Well, and when Tennessee plays on the road, Missouri, Missouri's a finesse football team that can score a lot of points.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're a team though that can get gashed on the ground. It's what LSU did to them, and then eventually you make big plays over them. And tackling's optional for Missouri. And the way Tennessee secondary was the other night, Tennessee secondary is, they're the prize you pull out of a box of Cracker Jacks back in the day. You have no idea what you're going to get from them. But most times it's not good when a quarterback has time to throw. So the next time we see Tennessee in a competitive football game, it should probably be a night game in Columbia unless Missouri defeats Georgia this weekend, which I don't think is going to happen. So you're looking at a night game up there, and you're looking at something that's going to be really interesting, I think. I think that'll be a real test for the Vols. And in my mind, if Tennessee can sweep Kentucky and Missouri on the road, even dropping a game to Georgia at the latter part of the year, a 9-3 season with that roster, with everything that's happened, with the injuries they've had, it's a pretty good coaching job. People don't want to hear that, but I would give the coach an A if that's the case.
At the beginning of the year, did you foresee this running game like it is right now? I mean, they had 253 yards of rushing the other night.
Right.
You got the Jalen Wright kid, the Sampson kid. They're pretty good. I mean, did you see that at the beginning of the year? And everybody's used to Josh Heupel and what they did last year with Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt and all those guys throwing the ball downfield. And now, I mean, you look at Kentucky's defense. I think they were ranked 13th nationally coming in against the run.
They were,
but they kind of dominated the game running the football.
And like you were right to point out that Sampson, the last couple drives, was not going to be denied. They just couldn't get him on the ground. And the book on him is that he's more of a finesse player than a power player, and he's not going to run between the tackles, which I've always thought is a misnomer on him and he proved it the other night. I mean, that was big boy football. in that fourth quarter, and he took the game. Basically they go into that fourth quarter and it's a, half a score game. Tennessee's a couple points ahead, but he was not going to be denied, and they couldn't get him on the ground. And then when you factor in Joe Milton every once in a while sprinkling a run in there, that's the second time they've taken a nationally ranked run defense. They did it to Texas A&M too. The week before, Alabama had 23 yards on A&M, and Tennessee had 2 Bills plus. So, Tennessee's run game's for real. It's legitimate, and probably run blocking is probably better than their pass blocking.
So 8 games into the season.
Yeah.
What is your biggest surprise of the year? I mean, is it the run game? What is your, other than the run game? What is your biggest surprises? Like, on 3 phases of the game, what's your biggest surprises? Or are there any guys that you have seen that has really surprised you up until this point?
I'll pick on a veteran here, Barron, who's a veteran player and has had a great year. And the other night, for whatever reason, they weren't able to get the kind of pressure they've been getting. But he has had a really great year. James Pierce as well, the young player. To me, that's my greatest surprise on this club, is the way that entire line has performed basically from start to finish this year. And I knew their running game was going to be pretty good. And then I'll give you a bad surprise. I'm surprised Tennessee's wide receivers aren't better. I thought this group would be better, but to this point, they just haven't been. It's real easy to point the finger at Joe Milton and say, Joe Milton this, Joe Milton that, but Joe Milton's had very little help from that receiving corps.
Very little help.
Very
little help. Yeah. Well, and this is my last thing. How big is Cooper Mays coming back? What has he meant to that offensive line?
Well, I think he means everything to him. He wasn't on the field for that Florida game, and this might be me being just, a complete homer, but I would love to see that game played again with him out there, because Tennessee started behind the sticks all night. They were out of rhythm all night. Florida knew it. They had 2 players out of position on their line, which really led to 3 players. Once you start moving guys around, as you know, especially when you have an already thin line, and that Florida bunch at that time just wasn't very good. Florida's a little better now, and quarterback play, they're a little better than probably a lot of us thought they would be. He's had a real nice year, and good for him. That's a good story. But man, Tennessee, they let one get away that night. I'm afraid.
Tony, am I right? You have this weekend off?
Boy, I wish. Tennessee plays. There they are. Jim Mora Jr.'s UConn boys. And that first shot, that looked like a coach working on a 1-win season. That he looks a little more there. He's thinking about his bank account. There, he's saying we might win 2. We might win 2 in that photo. So what are they doing playing football at UConn? Why are they not in the Big East playing basketball? What are we doing in college sports, George?
You're exactly right.
Why are they even trying?
Where's Pearl Washington when we need him?
Yes.
So this will be a post-game show devoid of a lot of emotion, I would think. I would think this would be a quick show.
Celebration. Saturday is a celebration. Saturday is our day where we partner with our friends at Amachi, Knoxville. I've told you guys about this in the past, but each year we do, and right before you came over here, I was just dispersing some gifts that were given to me in the community by some people. This is a group that mentors children who have one or both parents incarcerated. What we do is we collect tickets from Tennessee fans.
Yeah.
They give their ticket up and they let these youngsters go sit in great seats.
Love it.
And then we have 2 guys in Nashville who have footed the bill for a tailgate in Tailgate, Tennessee. My friends at Calhoun's provide the food for us. We'll have a couple hundred people at a tailgate. They'll get to see a first-class tailgate, go get to see the band march. My friends at Alumni Hall gave me enough prizes and things like that for these youngsters, shirts, hats, things like that, so they can have a special day. And we're going to roll out the red carpet for some special people in our community
Awesome.
who have been dealt a pretty tough hand in life.
That is, man,
That's good.
that is awesome.
It's
Tell them how to listen to you.
Yeah, tclub.team is our website, and I have a blog up there every day, and we'll have a couple thousand words of fresh content, and that's why I look the way I do, because it never ends.
And Tony, before you leave,
Yeah.
if you want to come down here and take my place at the bowling tournament, I'm still not on the opening yet. It's been 3 weeks now. So if you want to come down here and take my place, have at it, man.
Kelly, it's a really good sign that I didn't know when it was. So right now I'm a hard maybe, I think. But I will say this.
Just go ahead and tell him no.
You really need to take George up on the bet.
Yeah. Big.
Okay.
Let's have a friendly deal going here, man.
Yeah.
That would be great
Sure.
content.
Oh,
What's the harm in that?
There
Kelly, what's the
isn't any
harm?
other than he's scared.
What am
Hey,
I
by the way,
scared
are
of?
you
You?
guys sold? Are you guys sold on Levis? Because I was shocked.
That's one
I
game.
am.
That's one
I
game.
am. It is one game,
It
but
was shocking.
he
Was shocking.
awesome.
He was. He played a lot better his first game with the Titans than I ever saw him play at Kentucky. He really did.
We got to run.
Thank you.
We
guys.
love your hoodie and hey, see you next Tuesday.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you,
See
Tony.
you.
Thank you.
After the break, trust me when I tell you, you need to stick around to hear what we're about to play you. Dabo Swinney, as a lot of coaches do, has an early in the week call-in show. If you haven't paid attention, they are 4-4, and some of their fans are pissed. A young one voiced it all, and Dabo fired back like you'll never believe. We'll play it next.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
So what you're about to hear is the classic deal that goes on at times in college football. A program that has won huge, Clemson's won 2 national titles, has sort of hit the skids. They are 4-4 this year. Dabo has come under a lot of scrutiny, and yesterday he fired off at a young caller who had tried to dust him to begin with. Here goes.
Hey, Tyler, I've listened to enough of you, Tyler. Listen, you can have all your opinions that you want. All right, I don't know how old you are. Don't really care. All right, but let me tell you something. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem. To be honest with you, because that is part of the problem. It's people like you that all you do is the appreciation. The expectation is greater than the appreciation, and that's the problem. And so, we've won 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. That's happened 3 times in 150 years. So if you want to know why, Clemson ain't sniffed a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years, and there's only 2 other teams that can say that, Georgia and Alabama. Okay? Is this a bad year? Yeah. And that's my responsibility. Take 100% responsibility for it. But all this bull crap you're thinking, all these narratives you read, listen, man, you can have your opinion all you want. And you can apply for the job. And good luck to you. All right? But to answer your question, all right, we're second in draft picks. We've graduated 98% of our guys. We're second in wins. All right? If you want to know why, again, I'm telling you, we're not perfect. There's a lot of teams that, Frank Howard never had a bad year. Coach Ford never had a bad year. Coach K has never had a bad year in basketball. People have a bad year. But the part of the problem is the appreciation. I used to tell people all the time, and say, what's the difference in Clemson? I'm going to tell you. At some places there's an expectation, but at Clemson there's an appreciation. And what's happened at Clemson is we've won so much that even when it used to be the fun's in the winning, now even when you win, people like you complain and criticize the coaches and question everything. People like you, all right, when I hired Tony Elliott to be the offensive coordinator who never called a play in his life, I'm sure you were critical then. All right, and he took us to 2 national championships. People like you who just love to destroy people with your comments. All right. I'm sure you've never made any bad decisions. I'm sure you've lived a perfect life. I'm sure you've led a bunch of people. I'm sure you do your job in front. So to answer your question, I started as the lowest paid coach in this freaking business. All right. And I'm where I am because I've worked my ass off every single day. And I ain't going to let some smart ass kid get on this phone and create this stuff. So if you got a problem with it, I don't care. All right. I work for the board of trustees, the president, and the AD. And if they're tired of me leading this program, all they got to do is let me know. I'll go somewhere else where there is an appreciation. All right? It's not just winning, it's how you win. And we are this is a tough year, but we've had 12 10-plus win seasons in a row. 12. We lost to Tennessee last year. They won 11 games for the first time in like 20 years. We've had 8 11 win seasons in whatever, 11 years or whatever. We've won 2 national championships. Clemson went 35 years. All right, probably since before you were born, your whole freaking life. And we've won 2 in 7 years. And we earned it. And we beat the best of the best to do it. The best of the best. 12 10-plus win seasons. So if you want to know why, that's why. Am I perfect? Nope. I'm far from it. I am a man of faith. Absolutely. All right? I'm 53 years old, and there ain't one thing in my life. I have been a part of failure many times, but there ain't one thing in my life that I've ever failed at, Tyler. Never. All right? Ever. I wanted to get an education. I got 2 degrees. I wanted to be the first college in my graduate my family. I did it. I wanted to go play football at Alabama. I earned a scholarship, lettered 3 years, worked my ass off, won a national championship. I wanted to get into coaching. I worked my way to being a head coach. And when I got this job, and I'm sure you didn't want me to get this job, all right, and 15 years later, I'm still here, and I'd say the results are what they are, and I stand on them. So you don't ever have to call back.
Wow. You know what?
He's salty.
And you know what? A lot of what he says is right. The only thing I might disagree with in the whole deal is that, unlike the rest of us, he's paid up in the $10 million a year range. Okay? Most of us are not. And with that comes a level of scrutiny that I don't get, you don't get.
That he shouldn't be surprised by.
No. But on the other hand, what he is saying is, have I not earned a tad bit of slack?
Yeah.
Have I not earned the right to fix it?
Well, that's this day and age, George. You know this. With a lot of success comes a lot of scrutiny, as you just said, and that's what makes what Nick Saban has done at Alabama.
Ooh,
I mean, he's been there forever, and he's been on top for a long time, and he's got a team right now that is not like his usual Alabama teams, and he may win 11 games with his team. It's unbelievable what he's doing. So I get that. I understand where Dabo's coming from. I mean, it's irritating because when you have all those winning seasons that he's had, and you have one bad year, but that's the climate that we live in now, George. I mean, nobody gives you any passes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. I don't like it, but
it is
that's
what
where
it is.
Yep.
Okay. We'll come out of the break and go to stat of the day. Thank God our winning percentage isn't important. And then Mark McGee will join us to talk about the Preds and a 5-game road trip that they are starting tonight in Vancouver. Please stay with us.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it's also, it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Tuesday. It's time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them out in Shelbyville, 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up for us today. We're going baseball. The Rangers are now 9-0 on the road this postseason and have the record for longest road winning streak in a single postseason, breaking a tie with what two teams?
Boy, I don't know, but I'm guessing that the Yankees in 98 might be one of those.
Yeah, good luck, George. That was my only guess that you took. I would have guessed the Yankees, but other than that, you're on your own.
I think it's the 98 Yankees. Although 99 they swept Atlanta in the World Series, so it could be. I'm going to say it's one of those two, and then the other one. Gosh, I don't even begin to. Well, hold on a minute. Boy, I don't know.
Phillies
of when?
I have no clue.
I'm I'm going to say it's the Big Red Machine of 76.
Okay.
And the Yankees of either 98 or 99. Billy, let us find out what's what.
The 2019
Ooh,
Nationals and the 96 Yankees.
96 Yanks.
Oh, wow.
96 Yanks, sure enough, swept Atlanta.
Wow.
In the 3 games in Atlanta, and I guess must have done a lot of damage before that. The Nats.
I never would have guessed that.
I wouldn't have thought that.
No, absolutely.
Great question. Okay. I bet even Mark McGee, who's as big a baseball fan, if not bigger than me, probably would have had some trouble with that one. Gee, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I would have gone for the 99 Yankees too. Ironically, I'm wearing that jacket today from that series.
You're wearing now. Wait a minute, a Yankee jacket or a World Series jacket?
It's the World Series jacket from 1999.
Okay.
So it doesn't have anybody on it. It says World Series on it.
That's
so
a World Series I'd like to forget.
It was about to get ugly.
Yes, it was. We used our tickets quickly during that one. So it was like not a lot of fun.
Your former boss, the late Joe Biddle, goaded me the day before that World Series started into saying that the Braves starting pitching was good enough to hang with the Yankees. And I believed that walking into Turner Field, but by the 8th inning of Game 1, I turned to some friends and said, we're going to get swept.
Yes, I was one of those friends.
I know. Way out in that right field corner by the foul pole. Cold. Oh, my God. Made today seem like a heat wave.
Yeah, it was chilly. Yes, but it was the World Series, so what can you say?
Okay. On to the Preds.
Yes.
Those who were there Saturday night tell me that if UC Saros had not been as terrific as he was, that could have been a 6-2 loss. Instead, it was a 3-2 overtime win.
I agree. I mean, we talked about Saros last week. They hadn't really been playing up to Saros' standards, but he did. He came up when he needed it against Toronto, which you got Austin Matthews and the rest of that offense going after you. One of the top 3 players in the league, and maybe top 4. So I mean, he had to step up, and he did. He stepped up big time.
So that win evened their record at 4-4. And Guy,
yes,
we're about 10% of the way in, and I know it's early to be asking this, but at this point, what do you think of them? And is hoping for playoffs realistic, completely unrealistic? What do you think?
Well, I would say, I mean, I like the way they play. I like how fast they play. I like they're finding open spots. They're finding open spots when their open spots don't look like they would be. Like Ron O'Reilly is gutsy players. He scores in tough areas, and he had the two power play goals against Toronto, his whole team, ironically. And I think that we'll know. I think we'll be almost definitively be able to tell you whether this is going to be a playoff team or not after this 5-game road trip's over.
Okay, tell me about that. Because
Vancouver's tonight, and Vancouver's doing really, really well. They're playing really, really well. They've had points in the last 4 games, and they have won 3 in a row. But the only loss they had was the New York Rangers, which was an overtime loss. And so they're playing extremely well. They've got a really, really powerful offense. Their offensive scoring is really, really strong. They've surprised a lot of people just how good they are. They're 6-2-1, I think, right now. So a lot of people are saying, "Wow, this is not the Vancouver team we thought it was going to be." And they're much. I mean, there was kind of some question marks, but they have put it together for sure right now. So and of course they beat Nashville 3-2 about a week ago. It's been about a week ago. They beat Nashville 3-2 here. So
tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was about a week. Yeah. So Andrew Burnett, obviously, I'm sure watched the videotape of that game a lot, and I'm sure he's got some counter moves and things like that. And one thing that'll be interesting tonight, the Lions have been moving up and down and around, and offense and depth for Nashville never really been said much, but there is some depth to this offense right now. He can maneuver a lot of people around the lines. I mean, somebody I think it was Tom Basilio gets sat for 3 games as a healthy scratch, and I think Parson dropped from like the first line to the third line. I mean, he's moving people everywhere, and I think that makes it a little more difficult maybe for Vancouver to figure out what they're going to do tonight.
So Guy,
this
is their annual CMA road trip where they're gone
5,000 miles.
Yeah, they're gone for a couple of weeks. How many points would you take in these 5 games and never play it?
Oh, I'd like to say 3, but I think I might take 2. I mean, points. Okay, points. Let's see. I say 6.
You'd take 6 out of a possible 10 and never play it.
Never play it.
Okay.
You gotta go to Edmonton, which we saw what Edmonton can do. You got Carmen McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, all you gotta say. I don't care how weak their goaltending is; it doesn't make any difference that much anymore. And Edmonton now is like everybody's saying, "Let's go give them the Stanley Cup now," because the way they're playing. And then you've got Calgary. Calgary's had some problems. They lost to Edmonton the Heritage game this past weekend, but Calgary's got some problems. So that I would think that would be a win maybe from that standpoint. The Kraken, which was such a tough team for them to play last year. The Kraken's just not the Kraken it was last year. I mean, they just won games, and they're a much different team this year. They're not quite as good, I don't think, as they were last year.
There's a crack in the Kraken.
There's crack in the Kraken. Very good. I like that.
Thank you.
But that's why you get the big bucks. I think that's a winnable one. I don't know that Edmonton's a win. I think that that's just a tough place to play, and that team is so strong offensively. But I think tonight's game, I think winning this game will be a nice start. It'll be a nice start to it. So, and then who am I missing? We got Vancouver, Seattle, Calgary, Edmonton.
It's good enough.
I'm missing one of them.
It's 80% of it.
Yeah. I can't remember where they were going. Oh, Winnipeg. They finished up with Winnipeg. Yeah, and Winnipeg's Winnipeg. Who knows what's going to come out on their field? Their ice. They're one of the more quirkier teams around. I think they don't care how well they play. They're just quirky. You don't know what to expect from them. There was a lot of problems last year in the club, in their dressing room, and nobody really could point a finger as to why. And one thing about it is they're not drawing anybody. They've got one of the smaller arenas, and they're not even come close to filling it right now. So a lot of people are wondering what's going on up there. So that's a winnable game, I think, too. I know there's another one in there I was trying to remember. So it's tough getting old. But I think if they gave me 6 points out of that trip, I'd say let's just go with it. That's fine with me. We don't need to make it. We don't need to travel 5,000 miles.
Well, and it looks like they're starting this tonight, giving UC some rest. They're going to start Lankinen tonight.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are. And I think I was going to talk about that. I don't think that's a bad move. I don't think it's a bad move at all. But he needs a test, and this will be a test for him because Vancouver is not shy about shooting the puck. I think one thing that's encouraged me about the Predators a little bit, they didn't score. On the 3 of the power plays of the night, but they scored on the 2 by O'Reilly. But the power play, which everybody, Andrew Brunette, that's his big cup of tea, and it did not look very good for a while. But all of a sudden, they're playing very well in the power play. They're making the right moves, and they're playing very well away from the puck as well. They're opening up chances and that type of thing. So I think that I'm really encouraged to see the power play making the moves it's making right now.
Kelly, say hello to Guy.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you very well. I told Gary During that you're now madder at me than you were over at him.
So I just got a few for you, but if you started the season 8 games into this season, would you have taken 4-4 right now?
Yeah, I would have, because they played 5 teams with 100+ points in that stretch. had
I got
5
you.
teams that had 100+ points last year. Yeah, I would. 4-4, I think, is a very respectable number. Plus, you're learning new offense, and you're a quarterback. You know what it's like to learn new offense. They're learning a new offense, and they're learning a new playing style in a lot of ways. Not only the offensive strategy, but just they're skating up the ice a lot. I mean, they're moving a lot more than they ever moved in the last year or two.
Well,
Up
that's
and
kind
down
of
the
what I
ice,
was.
which makes
Yeah,
it
that's
exciting.
that's kind of what I was going to ask you about Coach Burnett. Well, what have you seen that is different from last year?
Oh, he's an offensive minded guy, and like I said, the power play was the big thing for him, and he's finally got that going. I think it started out a little slow, but he's got that going the way he wants it to go. I believe especially the way he played against Toronto, and that he likes to move up and likes his team to move up and down the ice, and likes his teams to shoot a lot, and they're going to produce goals. They're going to score goals, and I think that's the most exciting thing about them. They might not make the playoffs, and I think we'll know a whole lot more about that after these 5 games are over. But if they have a potential for that, but they're just a fun team to watch. They're a much more fun team to watch than they have been in a long time.
So I saw where Cody Glass got put on the IR, and they brought in this Delgado guy from Milwaukee. How will he? Yeah, how's he going to fit in?
Well, he's a defenseman, and he has no points up in Milwaukee, I don't think. I think he may have an assist or something. They brought him in as a defenseman. Why they added a defenseman for losing a forward, I don't know. But they do have some depth on the offensive side right now from that standpoint. So Glass was only supposed to be out for 7 to 10 days. So it's a really disappointing thing. He's missed 3 games, I think, now. It's really disappointing that he's going to be out longer than they expected, because it was like a 7 to 10 day expected to be sidelined, and it's obviously worse than that. So, but that's going to cause more of a shift in the lines tonight as well, as to how they work with that. So, but it's it's a depth move. He's not going to. The guys is not going to come in and dazzle you with offense or anything like that. Of course, he's a defenseman. He's a pretty good sized guy, and he can play. And so he'll probably be the addition they need him.
Yeah. So my last thing is I was reading where Ryan O'Reilly is playing in his 1,000th game. Talk a little bit about him and just what kind of player he is. And I can't imagine being like that's rough. It's just like the NFL. It's like rough on your body, and man, playing 1,000 games, that's kind of crazy.
Well, last year he thought he'd break the 1,000-game barrier last year. He was injured a lot of the season. Like talking about the injuries, he dealt with a lot of injuries last year. He was I always liked him, especially when he played for St. Louis. And I was glad to see the Predators get him, even though he had been kind of sidelined and kind of hampered last season. But he's come in. I always loved the way. He does a great job of finding spots that are open, but also he's a gutsy player. He'll find a play. He'll play in the rough areas. Barry Trotz used to always say that the ugly goals are the best goals, and O'Reilly's the guy who likes that type of thing. He goes in where into the rough areas, challenging areas, and scores, and that makes a big difference. He's living up to what I expected him to do, what I was hoping he would do. So it's been great so far.
Guy, as always, thank you. Get your bowling game ready 4 weeks from
I got to start
yesterday.
practicing. I don't want Larry Spino to start spouting my scores out to me and be laughing anymore. So
well, I will admit that it came up yesterday.
Well, I bet it did. That makes me. I couldn't believe he knew how badly I did. But when I interviewed him a few weeks ago, he was like, he knew the exact number. He goes, I can't believe you shot that. I'm not going to talk about score on the air. He said, I can't believe you shot that bad. And I go, thank you. I'm sure that made you feel really good.
Yeah, he loves it.
Because as much as he loves me, I'm sure he really was happy about that.
He loves putting that needle in.
Oh, he does. He likes it a lot. He was a big help to me when I needed him on that interview about Conway Twitty. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better.
I like the vow. Talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, George.
Mark McGee with weekly update on the Nashville Predators. After the break, guess what we're going to talk about?
Oh, Jimmy.
Mr. Catty. Mr. Catty has got himself in quite the little mess We will
Somebody's,
talk
I
about
told
it.
you, George, somebody's after him, man. I told you.
OH.
IO. Stay tuned.
OHIO.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the third annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to sign up and get involved. The cost is $200. The proceeds will benefit the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. And what I promise you that night is great bowling, maybe not, great food, a ton of fun, and in fact, I'll make this claim, more fun than any charity sports event you have ever been involved in. To get involved, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Let me know whether you want to be in the 6 to 8 p.m. shift or the 8 to 10, and get ready for a night of bowling and fun
you'll never forget. All is not well at Michigan. Now, there are a lot of things that are well. Their football team's good enough to win it all, but they're going to win it in kind of a scandal in the background kind of feeling.
Asterisk.
Maybe.
Shady. It's a little shady.
It does feel that way. And I'll say this, the coaching community is furious about what appears to have gone on here. But anyway, a couple of nights ago, kind of out of nowhere, the Wall Street Journal was the one to report that Michigan had a contract offer, I guess an extension, on the table for Harbaugh, and that they have rescinded it. Harbaugh on Monday denied that. ESPN then secondarily pretty much confirmed what the Wall Street Journal had been reporting. So, what does this lead to? Here's a couple of things. Number one, it leads to a football team that sure seems as good as anybody and seems like one that you pencil in on January 1 in the college football playoff semifinals. They're that good. I think you also pencil in that whatever goes on this year, the likelihood sure feels more and more like Jim Harbaugh is going back to the NFL because it sounds like the Wolves are chasing him. Kelly.
I agree, George. Somebody's after him. It's Ohio State. We all know that. You can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't prove that, but there's somebody that after him. And if all this stuff that's come out is true, and I've talked about it before on the shows, I'm sure people are getting tired of me hearing me say this, but like that goes on all the time. But if you're that involved in it with you're buying tickets for a guy to go to places, you're sending information to a South Carolina because you don't want a UT going into the National Football Playoff scene. Man, that's really blatant, George. It's really blatant, and it's too bad because they do have a really good football team, but it's win at all costs, and that's kind of what college sports has gotten to right now. The transfer portal, NIL, win at all costs. Let's get the best players we can, and then if we can get some intel on somebody, whether we do it legally or illegally, we're going to figure it out and we're going to get it done. And it seems like they went to above and beyond to try to spy on teams, and that's I don't know. I'm not a big fan. You talked about the Astros about hitting the trash can, but I've done it, but that's crazy what's going on, and somebody's after him. And you're right, George. If something does happen, he's going to have a job in the National Football League because he's already done it at San Francisco. He's taken them to the Super Bowl. Both brothers got to play in that Super Bowl in New Orleans, and he's probably going back. So he's gonna land gently. That's for sure.
Okay, let me ask a couple of questions of both of you here, because this seems like a really elaborate Belichickian type of cheating where, we have airplane tickets for you. You'll arrive at gate 7. You'll go to the stadium. You'll sit on this side, which gives you the best view. I mean, this sounds like a well put together machine. Maybe I'm naive about this. I don't believe that every school in the country is doing that.
I disagree. Now to that level, right? I mean, Kelly's right in saying, at least I think that the fact that they did go to those lengths, it was that elaborate. They did all that work to I mean, somebody had to pay for this, right? I mean, this is not a small money that allowed Stallions to go on these trips. But I just think and we don't know this for sure. I think to a certain extent, there have to be other teams doing this.
I didn't say there aren't other teams. I don't think this is a widespread deal.
This type of
not to this level, no, absolutely.
No, I think you're right. I think that may be the only team that's doing that. Now, I can't prove that. I don't know that, but I've heard my college coaches talk. I've heard Coach Donnelly talk about it. I've heard people talk about back in the day, people getting up in trees and watching stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
right.
Coaches are paranoid, and they had a reason to be paranoid back in the day. But I just don't know of anybody else that's going to that length and that extent to get intelligence from another team.
Well, and y'all have been around college athletics a lot longer than I have. But what I've gathered
means I'm old.
But what I've
me
gathered,
too, Billy. What are you saying, you little?
What
punk?
are you saying?
I'm just.
What did you call? What'd you call it?
You little punk.
But
isn't it great to work with such an uplifting person?
Oh, it is. It really is. But no, what I've gathered in this situation and over the years is that, yeah, everybody's doing similar things, but it's a matter of if you get caught, right? I've heard that a lot, right? Like with the Hugh Freeze situation at Ole Miss. I mean, that was pretty extreme. But I mean, who knows? And like paying under the table, right? Before NIL, all I heard about was, oh, this has already been going on. Now it's just legal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows how much under the table stuff like this that no one knows about and no one might not find out about that already goes on. But there was a whistleblower, just like anything. I mean, if there wasn't a whistleblower at Northwestern, maybe we never find out about that. So, is it kind of not luck of the draw, but one person's interest? I mean, it takes one person to sort of start that fire. Now, maybe this was going to, someone was going to blow this Michigan thing up all along. But it takes one person. So that's what it's hard to believe that there aren't do you honestly believe there aren't other schools sending, and maybe they're not videoing to this level, but some way, I mean, they're getting these signals. So,
look, do I think there are on sidelines all over America somebody trying to figure out the other team's signals? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why do you think they put up that big old curtain with all those stupid pictures?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be on one of those pictures once. That's when you know you've arrived.
They like these big long black curtains.
Yeah. I mean look, they're all worried that on the other side somebody's over there peeking. But that's different than setting up electronic equipment,
Right.
So here's what I really want to know from both of y'all. Give me your gut feeling here. So Michigan is really good.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in agreement. They're really good. And the likelihood is they're going to be in the college football playoff. There's a real good shot of it. So, as they get toward that, is this whole spying deal going to hurt them as a distraction, or is it going to create, starting with Mr. Khaki, the whole world's out to screw us, and by God, we're going to rally to the cause, and we're going to show the little guy? What's it going to be, Kelly?
No, George. I mean, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I think that if this keeps going and the pressure keeps building, I think the pressure of all this, especially when you talk about the Wall Street Journal, one of the biggest publications in the country, and they're talking about it, how is that going to relay from the head coach to the players?
Because that was not the Taco Times that came out with
No,
that.
Absolutely. And if the Wall Street Journal's talking about it, then somebody's told them and they've gotten themselves into it. And then the pressure is going to keep building and building and building. And then you got peers that are saying, yeah, y'all are good, but y'all cheat.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of pressure on these kids to win. And like you said, they are good enough to be in the college football playoff. But let's go back to thinking, like, if this stuff is true, did you beat them because of your talent, or did you beat them because you knew what they were running? And that falls under the pressure deal, where I think the pressure cooker is going to get cooked up here. And if it keeps going and more people start coming out, more people start talking about it, I think that's going to creep into the locker room, and that's going to creep into the kids, and then the media is going to go into, and then that's all they're going to start talking about. And then I think it just builds from there, George. That's an interesting question, man. I'm not sure, and it's going to be interesting to see how those kids play. But I mean, let me ask you this: do you think if they get beat by Ohio State, that they're still, with all this going on and all this that's happening, do you think that gets them out if they lose to Ohio State?
I think you have to tell me what kind of loss it is.
Yeah.
Like if it's 27-24 and it's been a hell of a game, maybe not. If it's 40-14, probably so.
But with all these accusations, even if they do get beat 27-24, do you think that kind of tells the committee to turn the page on them and let's get them out of it?
I think it might, Kelly. I think
it's a really good question.
I think it might, because their strength of schedule is pitiful. They haven't played anybody in the non-conference. They don't have a win yet that they can hang their hat on.
So that win over Akron, you don't think's a big one?
No, that doesn't necessarily raise their.
The zips don't move the needle for you, huh?
No, but no, Kelly. I think
let's go Zips.
I think Ohio State, if they win that game, they've already got 2 in the back of their pocket that they are proud of too.
Yeah, you go to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
It's 3. I mean, they're in for sure. Yeah,
you hang that one in there. They can lose the Big Ten title game 48-3.
Yeah,
I just think that if they get beat by Ohio State, they get beat. It doesn't matter if it's by 1 or by 50. I think with all these accusations coming out, I think the committee will say, "Hey, let's be done with them. Let's do it."
That'll be interesting to see what the committee is told about how to deal with Michigan. Yeah. Somebody needs to ask the question for public. You might come up tonight.
It will come up tonight, but we'll see. Are they 6? Are they 4?
Michigan tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a big variance that are they?
Yeah,
or they could be. I mean,
everybody believes Ohio State will be 1.
I mean, some people think they're Michigan's the number 1 team right now. I don't know. I don't think there's much reason to say that.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: do you think they're the best team right now?
So,
because I do. I do think they might be.
I do, but I don't think you can put them at 1 right now. Like Kelly was talking about, it's results, right? At least at this point. That's how most people, I think, look at it. But I mean, pure eye test. I'm sure there's some committee members looking at Michigan and going, they're the best team in the country. But
it's very interesting, because if I was on that committee, I know what I'm told to do, but I would have no problem standing up and saying, listen, you can take your rules and shove them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in lifetime achievement. As long as Georgia's undefeated, they're going to be my number 1 until they're not. Yeah. And then when they're not, they'll drop appropriately. But when you're the 2-time defending champion, to me, there ought to be a little to the victor goes the spoils.
Correct. Yeah. Get a little consideration there.
And all the politics involved with the committee members.
So think about this one for a minute. The national playoff semifinals this year are January 1. Title game January the 8th. January the 8th is Black Monday in the NFL. Regular season will have ended. Man, if Michigan is in the national title game, the amount of speculation around that title game of Harbaugh's going to X, can you imagine?
There's going to be a level of pressure on them that that's don't.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I just think that all this stuff coming out, I think the pressure is going to keep mounting and building on those young kids, and they're in college, and sometimes that's hard to handle. And we're going to see how they handle it.
And I think the opponent, like Michigan's opponents, will use it too, and they'll say, they'll just use it. I mean, look at Kirby Smart. Like if they get matched up with Michigan, the opponents are going to have that ready, for motivation too.
Remember, you heard this. Did you watch the Raiders last night? Dumpster fire. Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's awful.
Looks lost. Oh, my God. He overthrew Devontae Adams
Twice.
on a bomb he wasn't even in the same zip code. Josh McDaniels bombed in Denver, starting to bomb in Vegas. Josh Jacobs, not happy. Hunter Renfrow, MIA. You never hear him anymore.
Devontae Adams, not happy.
Devontae Adams. Garoppolo looks completely lost. Jim Harbaugh to Vegas.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo looks lost because he's getting hounded. Because they have the same problem as the Tennessee Titans. They can't protect him.
Right.
That's kind of
so
important.
you guys know I'm always going to take up for quarterbacks.
That's okay.
I've always liked Jimmy, but you're right. He hasn't looked good, but there's reasons why you don't look good.
There are reasons. In the fourth quarter, when the Lions decided to send the Pontiac Silverdome, oh my God. Whew. I felt sorry for Garoppolo.
What's his name? Campbell. Dan Campbell.
Well, and Anzalone, the one with the hair that they kept
was
sending.
all over the
oh
place.
My God. and let me say, I enjoyed it because I had given the Lions as a gift to the people.
As a gift to the people.
Yes.
And the Detroit Lions are not bad. Pretty good,
No,
fellas.
They are pretty good.
This just in. They're pretty good.
They are pretty good.
Jameer Gibbs, pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Don't be calling my show and telling me about my bowl wins.
Oh, gosh.
What about that? Okay, after the break, we intend to make you Halloween money. In between trick-or-treaters, you can call your man, tell him what I told you, and if you're smart, you'll go the other way. We'll have Plaster Bet of the Day next.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, Don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Tuesday. Game 4 of the World Series tonight. Rangers D-backs at 7. And the Maction is back. We got a couple of games tonight, right, George?
Yes.
Northern Illinois, not Iowa, and Buffalo and Toledo. So Maction is back. We'll see where George is going. But first, bet of the day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give him a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened last night. The D-backs lost, but the Lions won.
Oh, yeah.
So you're happy about Garoppolo?
No, I feel bad for Garoppolo because he's just getting I mean, Kelly's right. He's got no chance. What's going on in Vegas is a mess. And Mark Davis, there's a guy laughing right now named Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia, as the interim coach when they fired Gruden, got them to the playoffs. And they lost to, Cincinnati 27-20 in the playoffs, and Mark Davis fired Bisaccia a day later. Well, hindsight's 2020. Rich Bisaccia looks pretty damn good right now.
Sure does.
I agree. I agree. It's just amazing. I was talking to somebody this morning about if you can get in that league, George, you know this, and you've been around it enough with the Titans. If you're a coach and you can get in that league, you can stay. If you get your foot in the door, you can stay. And I've been around coaches up there that shouldn't have been up there. I've had high school coaches better than some of the coaches. But you get your foot in the door, and I just don't understand how, a guy like that, and I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I just know his results, what he did in Denver, what he did. He's got the Bill Belichick stigma on him. I get that. I understand that. But, he keeps getting chances. And, how many more chances is he going to get to understand that, he may not be head coaching material?
Well, he bombed in Denver. He is bombing right now in Vegas. And the pressure's on him that pretty soon something's going to have to change because they have too many weapons. Devontae Adams, 1 catch, 11 yards last night. Hunter Renfrow,
woke up a little bit, but
he looks like he's in the witness protection program. They never use him.
They finally started throwing to him a little
bit. Josh Jacobs is unhappy. Darren Waller got out of there, a very talented tight end.
Another mind-boggling move.
I mean, they're a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah,
they really are. They got too much talent for that. I'll tell you one thing. The next person that can block Max Crosby will be the first.
Yeah. I think the other thing with them, they don't have any fans. Their fans are in Oakland. No one goes to their games in Vegas. That's Raiders.
Y'all got to look at it y'all got to look at it this way too. Just look at the advantage they've got over the other teams in the National Football League because I've had so many teammates when we had an off week, every one of them go to Vegas. They all want to go to Vegas. And just think if you're a pro football player and you got the opportunity to live in Vegas, you're going to go.
Well,
So they've
are
got a
you
huge
though, Kelly?
advantage.
Because having been
I
to
think so.
Vegas numerous times,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
my take. I love Vegas for about 2.5 days. And then after that, I want out of there.
Well, and you've
Well, I
seen
mean,
like
that's true.
Henry Ruggs, what happened there, right? When he got to Vegas, Chandler Jones, all that crazy stuff, with
There's a
him in
lot going
Vegas.
on.
I mean, yeah, for vacation, but to spend a whole season there, I don't know.
I'm going,
that's-
man. I'm going. Give me to Vegas, baby. I'm going.
Mark Davis, not sure knows what he's doing as the owner. Of course,
some of those owners.
he could say the same thing about me until you put up my record, which is pristine. And Kelly, we're going to make it more pristine tonight.
Okay.
4 of the World Series is tonight in Arizona, and this is where the Diamondbacks' lack of starting pitching depth will play out. They go to a bullpen game. They will start veteran reliever Joe Mantiply. Mantiply max gives them 2 innings, and then they move on to other bullpen suspects. The Rangers, on the other hand, will go with Andrew Heaney, and Heaney will outpitch Mantiply and others. Texas tonight to go up 3-1 and take a commanding lead in the World Series.
So, George, it's a total bullpen night for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, starting Mantiply, that's what it implies. But bullpen, like when you make the decision as a manager to go with the bullpen game, that's almost your last stand. You're saying we don't have a guy that can go 5, 6, 7 innings.
The Braves had to do it twice.
It's not a good. It's never a good sign.
The Braves had to do it twice when they won it all 2 years ago. Wow, they went with Tucker Davidson in a game. Tucker Davidson is now an LA Angel.
It can work out, but it's hard to.
It's hard to make it work because you got to have 5 or 6 bullpen people in a row come in and really be good.
Wow, that's wild.
Kelly, tomorrow on the show, our buddy Mark Griffin, former University of Tennessee basketball star. College basketball is less than a week away from starting, which, by the way, is way too early. It's absurd.
Well, they've had some charity games with massive crowds, televised too. It's weird.
It's too early, but it is what it is. Mark will have attended Tennessee's exhibition game tonight. He's up in Knoxville. He'll report back on it tomorrow. That's during the 2 o'clock hour. Then Danny Evans will join us during the 3 o'clock. And so we got a lot of different stuff to get into. We'll review how the College Football Playoff Committee came up with its decisions tonight. It doesn't look like it will be Georgia at number 1. Looks like OH.
IO.
Oh, y'all have won the spelling bee. Congrats. Kelly?
I was second, George, in the spelling bee.
Yes. Behave until tomorrow.
Second, though.
I can kick your butt in bowling.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. We'll stay after.
Billy, behave.
You too.
Hey, all of you, if you're in the neighborhood tonight or any neighborhood, go slow because there are little kids out there. Halloween ought to be fun, not tragic. See you tomorrow.